Admiral here, welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, and I wanted to make this video about the new 109 beta. I'm on update 2, which was released a few hours ago at time of recording, because there's a new feature in 109 that has been causing a little bit of controversy, and that is flaws. If you weren't aware, once you finish your design in the campaign and you build your ships, there is a chance that the ships will develop flaws, so the guns don't work as well, or their engines, or their rudder, or various systems can go wrong. And you can reduce it with technology and things like this. It is much worse early on in the game, especially if you're doing the 1890 start. It's a real issue that you'll be coming up against. Now, I personally quite like the feature. It gives, I think it needs some tweaking and it needs some refinement, but as an idea I think it's quite fun because it gives each of your ships a kind of unique personality. If you think to, say, the Queen Elizabeth class battleship, HMS Warspite, she was notoriously they never managed to fix her steering problems, and she had a tendency to kind of go where she wanted, and I like that sort of thing coming into the game. However, I am also aware that quite a lot of players don't like this feature, and they find it annoying, and they just want to play with ships that have no flaws. And this video is for you, because there is a way around it. So I'm going to load up my off-camera Chinese campaign that I've been using to do some testing on 109 with, and I will be back in a second. Welcome back to China. This is my off-camera campaign that I've been just fiddling around with. So let us build a new ship. It doesn't really matter what. Let's have a look, see if there's an interesting hull. Yes, the Dreadnought 3, why not? And I'm just going to let the AI build what it wants. I'm sure it'll build something interesting. It usually does. There we go. Actually, that's, well, it certainly is interesting. Look at that forward, that forward armament. Oh, AI. Look at that 4-weight offset. Oh, Jesus. So this is not a good ship, but it will serve to show what I'm talking about. So we're going to save this design, and we're going to go back to the list of ships. Now, this, you might think, oh, this method is silly, and it works a lot better later on. Early on in the campaign, you might find that you find this difficult. But even playing as China, who has, I'm pretty sure, the smallest economy in this era. Oh, of course, the game's going to no, it's just going to hang. Yeah, we have a very small economy. Japan doesn't count because I've been beating them up. We still have a very healthy amount of money in the bank. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Kishan class, for instance, and I want to have, say, 5 of these. Okay, that's the number I would like in the class. But I'm not going to build 5. I'm going to build 15. So I'm going to order 15 of them, and they will show up. If I do this, there we go. So they would take 25 months. So that's a very long time to wait. So obviously I'm not going to do that, but I can show you what the result is. So if we look at the Nian class battleship here, there is currently a bug in the game where scrapped or destroyed ships come back. And I did exactly this trick with Nian class. So you can see the ships that I scrapped, and you can see the ships that I kept. So here are the ships that I kept: the Xilang, the Yidong, the Gofan, the Yingzhu, and the Yingjing. And you'll notice there are no flaws. When you hover over them, if you're looking down below the status and the location and the tooltip, none of them have any flaws whatsoever. And that's because I made 15 of these ships originally, and you can see the ones that I got rid of here. This one was underweight, it had poorer fuel efficiency, rudder was rubbish, ship repairs, things like that. Then we have this one, which had even more things wrong with it. And none of these penalties are terrible, and you can get rid of them by doing refits, successive refits. This one's so big, I can't even see them all. But all I did was I looked through the list once they were into the commissioning phase. So you need to build them first, and then when they start commissioning, then you can see the defects. And all you do is you go through, you find every ship that has a defect, or you find ones that don't have a huge list. Like I could have kept this one here, the Singer, and you just go, well, yeah, that one's just a little bit overweight. That's fine. That's not a problem. This one, okay. What are we looking at here? Shell muzzle velocity minus 11.7%. That's really not up to spec. I'm just going to scrap you. And you can do this kind of process to eliminate ships that you don't want. So, if you want to get rid of your ships with defects, what you need to do is, first of all, build 3 times as many ships that you actually need. So if you want to build 5 battleships, say, then build 15 ships. Then, once they are built and they go into the commissioning stage, look through on your fleet screen, see which ones have defects, see if you can live with them or not, and scrap ships until you only have ships which have come out from the shipyards correct. Now, you might be thinking, oh, isn't this incredibly expensive? With the way that maintenance costs currently work in the game, it is pretty cheap to build a ship. And it is much better to have a ship that you are happy with, that you know is going to be good in the campaign, and because you'll be paying maintenance on it that is often more than the construction cost per month. So it is absolutely worth doing. You don't have to do it all in one go. You can do it in batches, and you can kind of role play it away as being quality control or something like that. Now, obviously, that's not really what the developers intended. And if you're a developer watching this, I am very sorry for if I am telling players to break the game. But I think it does speak to what I think could improve the flaws feature, which I do think is a good feature to have. And that is, I think, the fleet screen, first of all, should really kind of tell you if a ship has come out with flaws, maybe as you're commissioning it. It just has a little icon in the fleet screen or something like that. And then there should be a button somewhere, either on the ship design page or the fleet screen or something like that, where you can send the ship back to the shipyard to eliminate flaws. And it works a bit like how mothballed ships need to be recommissioned when you bring them out of mothballs. And, you know, there's a role in the background to determine what flaws are eliminated and or reduced. And you might have to do this a few times, especially early on in the game. But I think that would make it a lot more... I think that would make the feature a lot more fun for players, because they can, over time, if they're willing to invest, they can eliminate most of the flaws. But, you know, there's still going to be quirks and things like that in ships. And I think that's kind of fun to have. You know, not all ships in this era, you know, they weren't built at a time where you had computer-aided design or manufacturing processes, quality control, all these sorts of things that we kind of take for granted in the modern world. You know, these were built almost by hand by skilled shipwrights, but yeah, there were inconsistencies between ships of a similar class. And I think it would be very interesting if developers looked at that. And I think it would be very interesting as well if, I don't know, they did mention they were looking into some form of change of how ships were constructed, where you would have to build them more in series. So perhaps, you know, give you a bonus if you've already built a ship of that class, or you're already building a ship of the same class, then you get a reduction in the chance for flaws. So if you go for my French artisanal approach, where every ship is different, you're going to have a lot of flaws. But if you build, you know, 100 destroyers of the same class, by the time you get to the 100th ship, you should be pretty aware of what you're doing, and there shouldn't really be any flaws. I think that would also be a way of handling the flaw system. Anyway, I hope this has proven helpful or useful to those of you diving into the 109 beta, and I look forward to seeing you soon for some more Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Bye for now.